All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're tackling one of the most critical conversations of our time. What happens when neuroscience, artificial intelligence, and the future of how we learn all collide? We are, without a doubt, at an unprecedented crossroads.
And that brings us to the central question of this entire explainer. I mean, think about it. On one hand, we have the intricate, evolved wisdom of the human brain. And on the other, we have this powerful, accelerating intelligence of our own creation. So, can we use the ancient blueprint of our own minds to show us how to wisely build the future? Okay, let's dive into this.
The best way to frame this is with a powerful metaphor. Think of neuroscience as the oracle. It's this ancient source of wisdom that reveals the fundamental, non-negotiable rules of how we actually learn. And then you have generative AI. That's the workshop, a brand new, incredibly powerful tool that can build almost anything we can imagine. The entire challenge is making sure the workshop is following the oracle's instructions. This puts us at a truly pivotal moment, a genuine educational crossroads. The choices we make right now are going to define learning for generations to come. So, before we can even begin to talk about AI's role, we have to consult the oracle. We need to understand the brain's own instruction manual, the biological laws that govern how we learn. And the cornerstone of this manual is neuroplasticity. Simply put, our brain isn't fixed. It physically changes in response to our experiences. The best analogy is a garden. The pathways you use often are the ones that grow stronger, while the ones you neglect just wither away. It's the biological proof that effort literally builds the mind. So what are the brain's non-negotiable terms for learning? Well, first, it's physiological. Our bodies have to be involved. Just sitting still for hours is actually counterproductive. Second, it's social. Our brains are hardwired with things like mirror neurons to learn from and with other people. Third, it's emotional. We just don't pay attention to or remember things we don't feel a connection to. Emotion is the gateway to memory. And finally, and this is the big one, it requires practice. There are simply no shortcuts to strengthening those neural connections. And this brings us to the core conflict. Now that we understand the brain's rules, let's look at generative AI. A technology that presents both an incredible promise and, well, a pretty significant danger to those very rules. For teachers, AI is an absolute dream assistant. It can automate lesson plans and grading, freeing them up to actually teach. For students, it's like having a personalized 24/7 tutor that adapts to their specific pace. But the flip side is stark. For teachers, AI requires constant supervision to catch errors and biases. And for students, it carries this heavy risk of fostering dependency, plagiarism, and even social isolation by replacing human interaction with a machine. Let's just pause on this number for a moment because it is staggering. A study from MIT found a 47% decrease in brain activity when people used AI for writing tasks. This isn't just a small dip, it's a massive reduction in cognitive engagement. It points directly to a risk neuroscientists call cognitive atrophy. So, here's the crucial point. AI is designed to reduce effort, but neuroscience shows us that cognitive effort, the struggle, the challenge, that's not a bug in the learning process. That's the entire feature. It is the very mechanism that builds a stronger, more capable brain. When we outsource that struggle, we risk outsourcing the learning itself. So, how do we reconcile this? We can't ignore AI, but we can't let it undermine the fundamentals of learning. The answer has to be in synthesis, in building a new kind of hybrid classroom, where humans and machines play new, redefined roles. This shift in roles is fundamental. The teacher is no longer a simple transmitter of information. That job is automated. Instead, they become a designer of learning experiences and a cognitive mediator, guiding students on how to use these powerful tools responsibly. And the student is no longer a passive bucket to be filled with facts. They become an active agent, a critical explorer using AI as a tool for discovery, not as a crutch. This leads us right to our conclusion. The future of education isn't about which app or software we use. It's about the pedagogical philosophy we choose to design. It is a future we have to actively build. Ultimately, it all boils down to this one choice. Will we use AI passively as a replacement for human thought that slowly atrophies our cognitive skills? Or will we use it actively as an amplifier for human thought, a tool that handles the grunt work to free our minds for what they do best: creativity, critical analysis, and complex problem solving? And so we end where we began, with a question. In a world where AI can generate infinite content and answer any factual query instantly, what does it truly mean to be educated? What uniquely human skills, like curiosity, empathy, critical thinking, and collaboration, must we now cultivate above all else? That is the challenge and the opportunity right in front of us. Thanks for tuning in.